Let's demystify Anakin's fall to the dark side. We're going to do this by understanding the dark side so that we can sidestep it, because who wants to breathe like Darth Vader? Really? Come on now. So there is a Sith-oriented partnership between the amygdala at the bottom of our brain, which functions as the seat of both fear and aggression, and the prefrontal cortex, our seat of reason. These two, we can be very, very clever, but darkly so. Then there's a Jedi partnership. Now, not all Jedi had this. This is the ideal Jedi partnership between the same prefrontal cortex, our seat of reason, but this time, instead of partnering with the fearful amygdala, it partners with the empathetic anterior cingulate gyrus. Ask Force Ghost Anakin. He'll tell you, you cannot repress yourself out of fear and rage, which begs the question, then how do we transcend that mechanism? What is the solution? It's a two-part solution. It's a three-part solution. Actually, the first part is mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we access our sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the thoracic region of our spinal cord. That's the part that corresponds with our rib cage. This is not wired for active concentration, but instead is wired for perception. Perception that is vulnerable and passive and visceral and random. It's messy. It's organic. So what are we supposed to do with all that we perceive? All those sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. What are we to do with them? Well, we meditate upon them, but how does that work? Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we access our parasympathetic nervous system, which is ensconced again within the spinal cord, but this time at the lower end of the lumbar region and the tippy top of the cervical region. When we do so, when we do access the parasympathetic nervous system, we find ourselves physically relaxing and mentally releasing. This does not make our previous perceptions go away, but it helps us to let go of them, to make peace with them, to take a break from our exhausting habit of living in perpetual resistance. So during each inhalation, when we perceive our very turbulent play of mind, and during each exhalation, when we relax into mind's non-graspable nature, instead of living in opposition to this, instead of fighting this, by cooperating with these natural mechanisms, we find that we naturally experience the highest form of love, which is spontaneous and uncontrived. We can be like Qui-Gon Jinn and flow effortlessly with the Force. Now, Qui-Gon Jinn came to an end. Into each life some rain will fall. Simply because we're flowing with the Force doesn't mean that everything's going to be puppies, kittens, lollipops, and rainbows. But it does mean we will have peace in our life, and we will have a meaningful, fulfilling life. That is the benefit of flowing from centered spontaneity, of allowing our choices and our utterances and our deeds to flow with the Force. I look forward to chanting and meditating with you after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent more than 8 hours a day, every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and practices of each school of Buddhism so that you would not have to. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. This evening, we're going to play with the sadhana version of the song, whoopsie, wrong button on my part, of the Song of Enlightenment. That should be it. Let me make sure everything's copacetic. Fabulous. But first, I'm going to play a little song on my tuba. My wonderful tantric partner keeps me in hot sauce, and that last hot sauce was a fermented, healthier version of sriracha. Woo! That's good stuff. So we're going to begin by performing Bodhicitta's chant of empathy. The chant of empathetic bodhicitta and enthusiastic refuge. We're going to perform actually two recitations. The first is more literal, and we're setting it to a triplet chant together. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hate, engraving, and clinging, by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. So these three nouns are so useful that they've earned the metaphoric nickname of the three wish-fulfilling jewels. You know, kind of like Aladdin's lamp, but without Robin Williams, unfortunately. Our final premeditation recitation is going to be the same thing, Refuge and Bodhicitta, but we're using a recitation that is more concise and more figurative. And this time we're setting it to the bookend chant together. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. So it's been my experience that using the triplet chant is sedating, and using the bookend chant can be invigorating. So if you have difficulty getting to bed, you may want to fold in a chanting practice using a triplet-oriented chanting practice into your go-to-bed routine, but not your wake-up routine. As children, our first bicycle most likely came with training wheels. They were clunky, but they got the job done. Similarly, our first, what's that called? Tonight, our first meditation is also going to be clunky. During the inhalation, we can silently and mentally recite the 12-syllable recitation, perceiving this very turbulent play of mind, and during the exhalation we can practice another 12-syllable recitation, relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. And no, Virginia, this is not an affirmation. An affirmation is belief-oriented. It's a pretty lie we tell ourselves in an effort to work magic. This is a factual statement. This is what's going on right now. The reason we play with it is in an effort to harmonize with pre-existing mechanisms that are already in play. We can live in conflict with those mechanisms and call that samsara. We can live in harmony with those mechanisms and call that nirvana. We now turn our attention to the Song of Enlightenment by yong-jia Xuan-jue, translated from the Chinese into English by Red Pine, adapted and amplified by yours truly. Together. Do you not see idle followers of the way? Not studying, not busy, not getting rid of delusions, not looking for the truth. The true nature of their ignorance is the Buddha nature. Their illusory empty bodies is their Dharma body. The Dharma body they realize does not include anything. Their original nature is the primordial Buddha. The five skandhas hold by clouds floating aimless in the sky. The three poisons are mere bubbles appearing then gone. So let's take a deeper look. This right here is the secret to meditation. As we breathe in, we notice. As we breathe out, we relax. I once saw this wonderful, I guess what, maybe 7, 8 years ago, I saw this wonderful advertisement for a gym. I pick things up and then I put them down. And that is exactly what meditation is all about. Now, if you can do it with an outrageous Austrian accent, chef's kiss. Thank you, Brock. So, Brock, next time you're dating, and you want to be cheesy, yeah, my name is Brock, just like the candy. I'm sweet that way. Now, if she punches you in the nose, please don't blame me. Seeing what is real but not persons or things, they instantly quench the fires of hell. Meanwhile, those who deceive others with lies spend couples having their tongues torn out. Well, that's like, what is that? That's like the, oh, who is the guy who gave us Freddy Krueger? It's the Freddy Krueger School of Spirituality. But what we're basically being told is there are going to be fearmongers prancing about the countryside, preaching the gospel of fear, and being judgmental, and looking like they're having a face that looks like they've been sucking on lemons, but not in the fun Led Zeppelin sort of a way. So what the author is trying to say is the very act of mindfulness and meditation frees us from the possibility of hell, if there is such a thing. Instant understanding is the Tathagata meditation. Every practice and perfection is present in your body. The six passive existence look real in a dream. Once you're awake, the whole universe is gone. Again, this is a reference to breathing in and noticing whatever comes up, external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque, real or imagined. And when we're exhaling, we are physically relaxing and mentally releasing. This is a theme that is folded into the primary text several times. No punishments or blessings, nothing lost or gained. As for the heart of Nirvana, do not ask for directions. Regarding that unpolished, just covered mirror, it is time you take a closer look. So, the gradual school would say, your mind is a mirror, our defilements are dust, we must polish and polish and polish. However, the sixth patriarch said there is no mind, there is no defilements, there is no one to polish. In other words, How do you slice through the Gordian knot? I mean, how do you untie the Gordian knot? You don't. You just slice through it. And in Buddhism, we use the metaphor of the flaming sword of the wisdom of awareness and release. Now it's time to remove the first of two metaphoric training wheels, reducing our contemplative exercise from 12 syllables down to 3. During our inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite, notice this, and during our exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite, relaxing. Frog, thank you for the courtesy chuckle. There are times when we feel ourselves resisting our circumstance or our bodies or our relationships or our mind. And the key to slipping that resistance, to harmonizing with those things instead of fighting them, is in the skillful use of labels. Now, our job is not to perfectionistically exhaust ourselves, trying to find the perfect label within the shortest amount of time. Please allow me to remind you that life is messy. We are born naked, screaming, and covered in goo. Meditation is messy. Life is messy. It's okay to have a shallow learning curve. I promise if you persist with this exercise twice a day, every day, within a ridiculously short period of time, you will master it. So for instance, if you were at a singles gathering and you used a cheesy line suggested to you by a big-nosed meditation teacher, and someone slapped you in the face, well, then you can meditate on sensation, relaxing. Let's chant. Who has no thoughts, who is not born? What truly is not born is not born. Let us not get confused with pseudo-spiritual wordplay. Ask a mechanical man made of wood, how is that quest for Buddhahood coming? Our job is not to imitate a tailor's mannequin. We're allowed to be human. We're allowed to experience all the perceptions. We're allowed to experience all the emotions, intentions, reasonings, recollections, and imaginings, be they glorious or grotesque, interesting or boring. Let go your grip on the material world. In the heart of nirvana, eat and drink your fill. I'm reminded, as a sci-fi geek, I'm reminded of the Netflix series, the first season of the Netflix series, Altered Carbon. We are, this is a paraphrase. If you know the actual quote, please share it with me. We are emissaries. We accept what is given. So likewise, we're not fleeing things, we're not chasing things, we're centered. Practices are ephemeral, everything is empty. This is the perfect enlightenment of the Buddhas. Mindfulness is empty, distraction is empty. Relaxation is empty, release is empty. Cruelty is empty, kindness is empty. We're wired to effortlessly be empathetic and effortlessly follow the path, all the while not really believing our own press. Speaking with conviction is a sign of a true monk. Those unable to indulge in asking questions. Severing roots is what marks a Buddha. Picking through leaves and twigs is not for me. So, all we need is big picture thinking. Let us not get lost in minutia. You remember the sage advice of Albert Einstein. Any educated idiot can make things more difficult, more complicated, and more violent. However, it takes a lot of courage and a little bit of genius to move in the opposite direction. In the final passages of the Satipatthana Sutta, the Buddha tells us all enlightenment can be accomplished in a week. And he never said that it was only for special people in a special place at a special time. He didn't say that at all. So if someone is telling you that enlightenment's difficult and it's going to take multiple lifetimes, thank them for their time and run away. The Buddha's method is easy and efficient. People do not notice the jewel among jewels, waiting for them in the Tathagata Garbha. So we're saying is the Buddha nature, our inherent sympathetic nervous system, our parasympathetic nervous system, and our anterior cingulate gyrus, the actual meat that makes noticing, relaxing, and loving possible, is the wish-fulfilling jewel. It's the key to a fulfilling life. Its sixfold power is neither empty nor not. It's perfect like neither visible nor not. Once again, a reference to awareness and acquiescence. Purify the five roots and acquire the five abilities. Only then will you know what cannot be measured. An image in a mirror is not hard to see, but try to grab the moon in the water. Again, perception, release. Now let us remove the second of two metaphoric training wheels, reducing our contemplative exercise from 3 syllables down to 1. During each inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and during each exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the monosyllabic verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax. Allow me to take a moment to insult your intellect. Clearly, reducing 3-syllable labels to 1-syllable labels requires a bit of the old poetic license. When we feel a physical sensation, we can label it using the noun form. When we feel an emotion, we can label it using the verb feel. When we experience a memory, we can label it using the preposition then. And when we fantasize or imagine, we can label that using the verb dream. Setting out alone, walking alone. Those who arrive take the Nirvana road. Their appearance ancient, their manner detached. Dragon and gone, they are not noticed. Some people will tell you, they will twist different verses, and they will take them widely out of context, and will tell you that the Buddhist path is about manifesting heart's desire. No, it's not. It's about noticing and relaxing and loving and flowing. Being led, not choosing. We are not the navigator. Our goal is to be less like Darth Sidious and more like Qui-Gon Jinn. Darth Sidious was the king of goals. Qui-Gon Jinn, his only goal was to flow with the Force. Disciples without means, they are called poor, poor in possessions but not in freedom. Being poor, of course, they wem. They practice as treasuring the jewel within. Jewel is short for wish-fulfilling jewel, which is a metaphor for our Buddha nature, which is the Iron Age way of describing the neurological mechanisms which makes noticing, relaxing, and loving possible. This priceless jewel with inexhaustible uses, it never withholds its help or response. The three bodies of four insights are present within. The 8 freedoms and 6 powers all mark the mind. We don't need to exhaust ourselves memorizing checklists of contemplations. We practice awareness and acquiescence and harmony with our body's natural rhythms. Everything else will take care of itself. Gifted people grasp it all concerning the way at once. Lesser minds hereabout are not enthusiastic. Thinking about changing their clothes, they claim they are making progress. Forgive the cliche, but let us not master in minors. Major in minors, that's it. Let people mock and others speak ill of you. Let them tire themselves trying to burn the sky. Hearing the words is like tasting sweet too. I swallow and suddenly enter the inconceivable. I'm not a masochist. I'm a big chicken. However, when people are cruel, that can drive us into practice. The turmoil we experience at the hands of others can almost act like the philosopher's stone of lore, that which would turn lead into gold. When someone so it's been taught that there are 5 mental poisons. So let's look at them. When we notice anger, as we relax and release, it becomes mirror-like wisdom. When we notice our craving, as we relax, it becomes discerning wisdom. As we notice our confusion, it becomes the wisdom of the basic space of phenomena. Breathing in, as we notice our competitiveness or jealousy, as we relax during our out breath, it becomes all-accomplishing wisdom. As we breathe in and notice pride or clinging, as we relax and release, it becomes equalizing wisdom. So, whatever ugly, painful, turbulent thing we perceive, by relaxing and releasing, it serves us on the path. And now, with that we've completed all our meditation instruction, together let us meditate as transformatively. And for some reason, I think I chose the wrong piece of art. But let us meditate as transformatively as Yoda on Dagobah under the guidance of the Force Ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn. In hateful words I see a chance for merit. They have become my closest advisors, not letting ridicule make enemies of friends. I show the power of accepting that nothing is born. So birthlessness and deathlessness and emptiness and selflessness are just metaphors for the experience of noticing and relaxing in harmony with our inhalation and exhalation. Know the words and know the know the words and know their source. Do not over focus on the emptiness of wisdom's light of perception and cessation. Once again, the key to the practice, the key to Tathagata meditation, is inhalation's perception and exhalation's relaxation and release. This is not something I alone have learned. Countless Buddhas have realized this too. The lion roars and speaks without fear. Lesser beasts hear and cower in fright. The elephant sees their rampaging ways. Sky dragons listen in silent rapture. There are many people who, for some bizarre reason, love fear. They love difficulty. They like being told of austerities. And when someone says, you know, the Buddha's path can be accomplished in a week easily by anybody, they are horrified. I have traveled great rivers, crossed mountains and streams, seeking teachers and masters to better understand meditation. Ever since taking the Cow River Road, I have discovered life and death have no hold on me. In other words, awareness and release. Walking is meditation, sitting is meditation, speaking or silent, moving still I am at peace. We can live our life from a place of centered spontaneity. Even at knife point I remain unmoved. Even poisons cannot affect me. This is, of course, metaphoric. Before my teacher, the Buddha, met Dipankara. He spent kalpas as Xuan-jue the ascetic. How many but so many tests and both go on without end. Since I suddenly realize that nothing is born, I treat fame and shame the same. This is a reference to the 8 worldly concerns. The fact that we are wired by evolution to hate, peril, pain, scorn, and anonymity, and we crave plenty, pleasure, adoration, and importance. Even though we are wired for those things, we can perceive them and release them and be free, not from their presence, but from their tyranny. I moved to a mountain and found a quiet place, deep and secluded beneath tall pines. An outsider monk, I enjoy sitting still. Settled, at least I am truly at peace. Settled at last I am truly at peace. This is disrespectful, but it reminds me of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. They would not let him join in all the reindeer games. The mark of a meditation master is not their beauty, prestige, or popularity, or wealth. The test of a teacher is the efficacy of their instructions. How do we know that? Simple. You get messy. You receive an instruction, you play with it at least 5 minutes every 12 hours or so for 7 consecutive days. At the end of those 7 days, you will either experience less peace or more peace, more love or less love. If you experience more peace and love, then you found a good teacher. If you experience less peace and less love, then it's time to keep shopping for a better teacher. Those who are awake do not engage in gift-giving gifts. In a world of conditioned things, however, it is different. Giving also a good rebirth one is still attached to form. You may as well shoot an arrow into the sky. Its momentum sped and arrow falls to earth, resulting in another disappointing life. Unlike the door to the real and unconditioned, once you step through, you are in the Buddha realm. Ignore the twigs and look for the root. The jewel of the moon is pure aquamarine. Once you grasp this wish-fulfilling pearl, it's up to you and others never ends. Moon on the river, wind in the pines. Why is the sky so clear at night? The pearl of the Buddha nature precepts marks the mind. Mist and clouds shroud the body. This following sentiment is shared also in the most ancient Dzogchen teachings, and here it is. According to the Buddha's most ancient teachings, the essence of morality is simply love and kindness. From the point of view of these teachings, the essence, getting back to the roots, the key is inhalations, awareness, and exhalations, release. This sets us up for the highest love, which is spontaneous and uncontrived. Meditate the right way, and you won't have to worry about being a cranky bastard. You will be more of a wisecracking Obi-Wan Kenobi and less of a sourpuss Mace Windu. My dragon subduing Bolin, my tracker calming staff, with its 2 rings echoing on the trail. It is not for pointing out the mundane, but for pointing out the tracks left by the Tathagata's precious staff. So, we are celebrating in the mundane, in the bowl, in the cane, in the accoutrement of the everyday. In the 80s, Robin Leach told us of champagne wishes and caviar dreams. However, in approximately the 6th century, yong-jia Xuan-jue taught us of the pleasure of the here and the now. Do not search for the truth and do not dismiss delusion. Realize both are empty and have no form. Whatever you perceive during the inhalation is released and relaxed during the exhalation. No form but neither empty nor not empty. That is the Tathagata's real form. I kid you not. I've lost count of how many arrogant and ignorant young men who've thought that pseudo-spiritual devil talk makes them great and enlightened. Nothing obstructs the mirror of the mind, illuminating a universe of countless realms, where millions of images appear, neither inside nor outside the perfect light. Saying everything is empty, they dismiss the laws of karma. Such recklessness is sure to bring misfortune. Renouncing existence for emptiness is the same as jumping into a fire to escape a flood. A few years ago, I think the head honcho, the patriarch of Duck Dynasty, was speaking at a megachurch. And he was basically saying, and I'm not going to do an imitation of this guy, he was basically saying, without God, we'd all be rapists and murderers. And the answer is, nuh-uh. We are wired by neural architecture for empathy. All we have to do is get out of our own way, and empathy and love and compassion are as natural as a runny nose during hay fever season. There are some people who say, dude, because I'm so spiritual, I know about emptiness. Therefore, I don't have to keep any rules of morality. No, you don't. but you're already wired to be empathetic. And if our so-called wisdom undermines our empathy, then it's not really wisdom, is it? Now that might sound like a no true Scotsman argument, but it's simply a litmus test. We can paint ourselves into the corner with pseudo-spiritual double talk. The test of our mindfulness and meditation is not what emotion we feel, but what volition we experience. Can we still feel the full spectrum of emotion, from the glorious to the grotesque, and still effortlessly choose kindness? That is spiritual maturity. I can't tell you how many Zen enthusiasts on Reddit talk about, oh, I'm just really training in the 5 precepts. No, just if you practice mindfulness and meditation the right way, you'll experience the highest love, not in the Cheech and Chong sense, but you will experience the highest love, which is spontaneous and uncontrived. If our mindfulness meditation do not create effortless love, then either we have not received quality instruction, or we have not mastered the instructions we've received. I say this not to be a dick, but to say you can squander your life ignoring the results of your actions, the results of your training. Your training doesn't make it easy for you to laugh. Then it is not serving you. And when I say laugh, I don't mean a scornful, mean-spirited laugh. You know, an easygoing laugh. For instance, I'm a big geek, and I love YouTube videos of dogs and cats being silly and funny. And sometimes I could look at it with just, you know, a dead face. And other times I can look at it and just laugh. And that is a litmus test of how I'm living my life and how I'm meditating. If I'm not getting enough sleep, if I'm not eating healthy food, if I'm not getting fresh air, sunshine, and exercise, if I'm not practicing mindfulness and meditation, I'm going to be kind of zombified. I suspect I'm not the only one. Oh, wait a second. Did I make a boo-boo? No, I didn't. Good. Let delusions go when grasping the truth. The letting go grasping mind is a master of disguise. Students unaware who take this for the practice mistake a thief for the child. So this is not a new problem. Centuries prior to this, the great South Indian Buddhist Saint Nagarjuna taught the 2 truths of awareness and acquiescence, noticing and relaxing. He taught that we need them both. Just as a bird requires both its wings to take to the skies, likewise we require inhalations, perception, and exhalations, relaxation. Reducing your Dharma wealth, canceling your merit, invariably results from discriminations of the mind. That is why in meditation we set the mind aside. We use the power instead of accepting that nothing is born. Not believing, but accepting. Accepting is the opposite of resisting. And it is available to us in every exhalation. It's already there. A tale is told in Tibet of a traveler visiting his friend. The friend serves him a dinner and he falls asleep. And the friend mysteriously takes a very expensive jewel and sews it inside the hem of the person who's asleep. And the guy wakes up before dawn and leaves on his trip. He doesn't know there's a jewel inside his garment. And he goes through all sorts of hardships and experiences all sorts of deprivations, not knowing he had incredible wealth sewn into the hem, sewn into the lining of his own garment. Similarly, our Buddha nature, which makes awareness, acquiescence, and empathy possible, is our treasure. The great Bodhisattva holding the sword of wisdom with its partial blade and partial flames. Not only did he cut through the mind of heretics, but first he ended martyrs' brazen ways. So let us not be villains. He shook his Dharma thunder and beat his Dharma drum. He spread clouds of wisdom, he spread clouds of compassion and showers of sweet dew. The trampling of elephants covered the world with moisture. Whatever the path or lineage, everyone woke up. So the practice is not about belief or disbelief. It's not about lineage. It's not about elitism. It's not about debate. It's about practicing awareness and release. Himalayan butter with nothing added. It alone produces my favorite ghee. The nature that pervades all natures. The Dharma that includes all dharmas. Let us not confuse letting go with pushing away. They're opposite. As we breathe out, we relax into the presence of what we perceived. Consider this t-shirt you might have seen before. Whatever comes, let it come. Whatever stays, let it stay. Whatever goes, let it go. It's not a question about belief. Affirmations compound our stress. Affirmations are about force. The Buddha's path is about letting go and allowing. A single moon is reflected in every drop of water. Every water drop moon is held a single moon. Every Buddha's Dharma body is my nature. My nature is one with every Tathagata. A Tathagata is a synonym for the Buddha. It literally means thus come one. Excuse me. At every stage, all stages are present, but not in form or mind and not in what you do. Snap your fingers and countless Dharma doors appear. 3 kalpas go by in an instant. As for all statements being no statements, that means nothing to this enlightened nature of mine. Once again, just dispense with pseudo-spiritual double talk. It cannot be slandered and it cannot be praised. Like space, it has no boundaries. It is never not present and always clear, but look and you cannot see it. You cannot grab it and you cannot let it go. When you cannot find it, that is when you will find it. It speaks when it is silent when it speaks, and when the gate of gifts opens, nothing stands in its way. People ask what is the source of my understanding. I tell them the power of great wisdom. If it is right or wrong, nobody knows. If it makes sense or not, the gods cannot tell. I have been practicing this for kalpas, and not just to make people confused. Flying the Dharma flag, announcing the school's doctrine. Clearly the Buddhist teaching is at Shaoxing. Kashyapa was the first to transmit the lamp, the first of 28 generations in the West. Let us dispense with sectarian pride and rivalry. The Dharma traveled east and reached this land. Bodhidharma was our first patriarch, the first of 6 to wear the robe and spread the word. Those who understood later were countless. We do not have found the truth. Illusions are already empty. We define what is and what is not, but we do not empty emptiness. Its 20 different kinds are no concern of ours. We share the universal Tathagata nature. Let us sidestep the tiger trap of pseudo-spiritual trivialities. The mind is a sense organ on objects or its sensations. Think of them as streaks on a mirror, and light finally shining when the streaks are gone. Forget the mind and objects, it is your nature that is real. It is an evil age and the Dharma is ending. People are not happy and lack self-control. Ignoring the sage path of mistaken views, Mata becomes stronger as the hatred multiplies. Hearing about the Buddha's sudden teaching, they wish they could grind it into rubble. I kid you not, there are people out there who think it's really, really awesome to be rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel, and they think it is dangerous to be flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. What the monk creates, the body suffers or endures. No need to claim injustice or shift the blame. If you're hoping to avoid karma's endless fires, do not criticize the Tathagata's true teaching. If we need purification from real or imagined karmic seeds that we think we have sown, there is nothing more effective than inhalations awareness or exhalations release. In a forest of nothing but sandalwood trees, where it is lush and remote lions dwell, the Sylvian wooded quiet where they roam where they will. Other beasts, even birds, keep the distance. Lion grabs will trail behind. By the time they are three, they can roar. Foxes will follow the Dharma King. After lifetimes of mischief, they can only yap. This is a metaphoric reference to Dharma students. A good Dharma student can master the path in a week and master the Dharma to the point of being able to teach others beneficially within 3 years. However, fools won't. You can have the same teaching for 2 different students, and one will get it and one won't. And it's not a question of intellect, it's a question of vulnerability versus defensiveness. The sudden teaching is free of sentimentality. As long as doubts remain, arguments follow. This mountain monk is not just banging his drum. He cares who might fall into the nothing or forever trap. No or not, no, yes or not, yes. To miss by an inch is the same as 1,000 miles. Yes, and a dragon maiden suddenly became a Buddha. No, and soon the Kshatra fell into hell alive. Anyone, regardless of rank or gender, can practice awareness and release. Anyone who practices it benefits. Anyone who forsakes it does not benefit. This is not some doctrinal thing. We are wired this way. This is the way our autonomic nervous system works. When we live in conflict with our autonomic nervous system, it is neurologically unsustainable. When I used to get when Netflix used to rent discs way back when, I used to watch Billions. In the first episode of the first season, both antagonists were meditating, or they appeared to be meditating. But what they really were doing was stewing in their own juices while their meditation apps were running, all the while thinking and plotting and scheming and without any awareness and release. So it's very, very easy to Oh, James, thank you very much. I'm so glad to hang out with you. It's so very, very easy to look the part. Jesus talked about whitewashed tombs are beautiful on the outside, but inside are full of dead men's bones and every corruption. And that's not unique to the Jews he was speaking to 2,000 years ago. It's ubiquitous amongst all humans. I learned a lot when I was young. I read sutras and shastras and studied commentaries. The names and terms never seemed to end. Like counting sand in the sea, it was such a waste of effort. I like this here because I can't say such without sounding like an old Jewish man. Such a waste of effort. Did I forget something here? 50th, 51st. Okay. Scolded by the Tathagata, what good is counting others' treasures? I realized all my efforts had been in vain. All the years I had wasted braving death and win. So scolded by the Tathagata means being vulnerable enough to let various verses of the Buddha's teachings really sink deep in our heart. Misguided from the start, my understanding wrong. I did not know how the Buddha's sudden teaching worked. Why devotees of lesser past did not seek the way. Why unbelievers may be smart but not wise. And this is what I was talking about before. I'm going to put here clever as a synonym. And it refers to, it's a great reference to what we mentioned in the opening lesson tonight. They are so foolish, so stupid, pointing to the palm to explain what they mean. Mistaking a finger for the moon, turning objects of the senses into ghost stories. Once again, let us not equate pseudo-spiritual babbling for the peace of insight. I'm reminded of David Koresh, the cult leader, who would call people up and try to convince them that he was the Messiah. How neurotic. Who does not see a thing is a Tathagata, hence the name looking from on high. Understand, those who understand are free of karmic burdens. Those who do not still have all debts to pay. And hunger that keeps them from enjoying even a royal meal. A sickness even a great physician cannot cure. That is why we practice inhalations, observation, and exhalations, relaxation. To meditate despite desire is the power of prajna, and why a lotus is not burned in a fire. Yong-jia committed crimes and then realized nothing is born. He became a Buddha and is still one today. When the lion roars its fearless teaching, it pities confused, obstinate fools who only see offenses the perfect Buddhahood belong to the secret the Tathagata revealed. So the lion's roar is a metaphor for the Buddha's teachings or the Dharma. 2 monks were guilty of crime, so judge would party with his firefly light. Layman v. Malakati dismissed their doubts as if the sun melted the snow. Inconceivable is the power of liberation. Its use is as countless as the Ganges sands. Who would not give every possible offering, such as 10,000 ounces of gold? But even one's flesh and blood would fall short. The unsurpassed king of all dharmas, realized by more Buddhas than the Ganges has grains of sand. This wish-fulfilling jewel I have received. May all who accept it do the same. This wish-fulfilling jewel I have revealed. May all who accept it do the same. Ooh, James wrote, just spent 3 days in the Psyche Ore and mindfulness and meditation got me through. My friend, I am sorry you endured such sorrows, such difficulty, but I'm so delighted that these techniques helped you. I'm elated that they helped you. To you, I send a psychic hug. Look around, there is not a thing. There are no people, there are no Buddhas. All the worlds in the universe are like bubbles in the sea. All the sages and worthies are like mere lightning. They come and they go. They are rather temporary. And that temporariness is the key to helping us let go. Even if an iron will roll across my skull, meditation wisdom's light would still shine. Though the center cold and the moon turned warm, not even an army of demons can destroy the truth. When an elephant pulls a cart up a mountain, has anyone seen a mantis block its way? I live in the United States of America, and over the past half decade or so, lies have become more and more virulent to the point where people are talking about alternative facts. Apparently, this is not the first time that has happened. Elephants do not follow rabbit trails. Enlightenment is not confined by minor rules. Do not vilify the sky when you are looking at it through a reed. If you still do not understand, this is for you. Now let us seal our practice with a bit of the old well-wishing. May all beings practice have kind communication, conduct, and calmness was spontaneous and uncontrived. May everyone be free from misery, may everyone be happy. May no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel if you wish. Again, I forgot to set the timer. In approximately 10 and a third hours, I would very much like to... Is it 10 and a third? I guess it is. 10 and 2/3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early morning meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.